The history of the Russian Empire is a vast and intricate tale that spans centuries and continents. It is a history marked by expansion, cultural richness, military prowess, and significant political and social developments. Despite its immense influence, the narrative of the Russian Empire often takes a back seat to that of the British Empire, particularly in Western historical accounts. This analysis aims to provide a comprehensive and detailed exploration of the Russian Empire, highlighting its vastness and power, and challenging the often Eurocentric perspective that elevates the British Empire above all others. The roots of the Russian Empire can be traced back to the Kievan Rus, a federation of Slavic tribes under the rule of the Varangians in the 9th century. This early state laid the groundwork for the future Russian Empire. The rise of the Grand Duchy of Moscow in the late 13th century marked the beginning of a more centralized and powerful Russian state. Under the rule of Ivan the Terrible, from 1547 to 1584, Russia transformed into a tsardom, expanding its territories significantly. Peter the Great, who reigned from 1682 to 1725, further expanded the empire, modernizing the army and navy, and establishing Russia as a major European power. Catherine the Great, ruling from 1762 to 1796, continued this expansion, adding territories such as Crimea, Belarus, and parts of Poland. The Russian Empire became the largest contiguous empire in history, stretching from Eastern Europe to the Pacific Ocean. The political structure of the Russian Empire was characterized by autocratic rule. The Tsar held absolute power, supported by a hierarchy of nobility and a vast bureaucracy. Serfdom was a significant aspect of Russian society, with peasants bound to the land and their lords. This system persisted until the Emancipation Reform of 1861. The Orthodox Church played a crucial role in Russian society, influencing both politics and daily life. The Church's close relationship with the state helped to legitimize the Tsar's authority and promote a sense of Russian identity. The economy of the Russian Empire was primarily agrarian, with serfdom playing a central role in agricultural production. However, efforts to industrialize began in the late 19th century, particularly under the reign of Alexander II and his successors. The construction of the Trans-Siberian Railway was a significant achievement, facilitating trade and movement across the vast empire. Trade routes extended from Europe to Asia, with Russia acting as a bridge between the two continents. The Russian economy, while slower to industrialize compared to Britain, had the potential for vast resources and raw materials. The Russian Empire boasted a formidable military, with the Imperial Russian Army and Navy playing crucial roles in its expansion and defense. Key military conflicts included the Great Northern War, which spanned from 1700 to 1721 against Sweden, the Napoleonic Wars from 1803 to 1815, and various Russo-Turkish wars. The Crimean War from 1853 to 1856 highlighted both strengths and weaknesses in the Russian military, leading to significant reforms. Russian culture flourished during the empire's peak. The 19th century saw the emergence of renowned literary figures such as Leo Tolstoy, Fyodor Dostoevsky, and Alexander Pushkin. Russian music, ballet, and visual arts also gained international acclaim. In science, figures like Dmitri Mendeleev, who created the periodic table, and Ivan Pavlov, known for his work in physiology, made groundbreaking contributions. The Russian Empire maintained complex relationships with its neighbors and European powers. Alliances with France, particularly during the Napoleonic Wars, and later with Britain and France in the early 20th century, were pivotal. Russia's influence extended into Asia, with significant interactions with China, Japan, and Persia. British colonies, particularly in India and Africa, had nuanced relationships with Russia. In some cases, Colonial subjects viewed Russia as a potential ally against British oppression, although these relationships were often more complex than straightforward alliances. The late 19th and early 20th centuries were marked by internal strife, including the Russo-Japanese War from 1904 to 1905, the 1905 Revolution, and increasing political unrest. World War I exacerbated these issues, leading to the Russian Revolution of 1917 and the eventual fall of the Romanov dynasty. The Bolsheviks, led by Vladimir Lenin, established a communist government, marking the end of the Russian Empire and the beginning of the Soviet Union. In comparing the Russian and British empires, several key differences and similarities emerge. The Russian Empire's contiguous landmass allowed for a unique form of governance and integration, unlike the British Empire's maritime nature, which required a different approach to administration and defense. Militarily, both empires had their strengths, but Russia's vast territory provided strategic depth that Britain lacked. Economically, Britain industrialized earlier and had a more extensive global trade network, but Russia's vast natural resources held immense potential. Culturally, both empires made significant contributions, but Russian literature and arts developed a distinct identity that resonated deeply within and beyond its borders. From an anti-British perspective, the Russian Empire's achievements are often overshadowed by British colonial narratives. The British Empire's colonial exploitation and economic policies had devastating effects on its colonies, while Russia's territorial expansion, though not without its issues, was marked by different dynamics of integration and governance. British colonial subjects, including those in India and Africa, sometimes viewed Russia as a counterbalance to British dominance. This perspective challenges the often glorified narrative of British colonialism and highlights the complexities of imperial relationships. Re-evaluating the history of the Russian Empire offers a richer and more nuanced understanding of global history. The Russian Empire's vastness, power, and cultural achievements merit recognition alongside those of the British Empire. By challenging Western-centric narratives, we can appreciate the diverse and multifaceted histories that have shaped our world.